We've got it. All the answers we've been looking for on a $1,400 fourth stimulus check and some surprising information along with all of the evidence right here in this video. So let's get right into it. All right, so for a very long time now, all of us right here in this community have been scratching our heads wondering, when is Congress finally going to do something, as money is really tight for the vast majority of people. Most people don't have enough money at the end of the month, and with this very high inflationary time that we're currently living through right now, we've always been wondering, when is Congress finally going to do something? Well, I have some surprising information and all the evidence for you right here in this video as far as how it pertains to a fourth stimulus check in the amount of $1,400 that I want to share with you right here in the video. So let's get right into this. However, really fast before we do, thank you so much for joining me. If you're new here or if you haven't done so yet, please make sure to subscribe by hitting the button right down below the video. I am your one and only daily advocate, and I am very much dedicated to you and this community to continue doing all the research and breaking it all down into these short videos so that you can stay posted with what is actually going on right now as it pertains to some very important topics like money, benefits, raises to benefits, new bills, piece of legislation, checks, stimulus, programs, and all kinds of other things that continue to be announced each and every day. There's a lot going on right now. It's a very busy and weird time that we're currently living through, but I'll continue doing all the research and breaking it down for you in these short videos so you can stay updated with what is going on right here, right now. So again, thanks so much for joining me. Please make sure to subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet. And let's get into it and discuss this surprising information and all of the evidence that I want to share with you right here in this video. All right, so here we are. It's been over a year and a half now since the last time we received a stimulus check. We've been wondering, is this going to be happening now, or what is actually going on? Well, there's some shocking evidence here that I want to share with you because this is actually giving us a glimpse into what is likely going to be coming at some point in the relatively near-ish future. So let me tell you all the details behind this because this is actually very important to understand. So stick with me on this because I have a lot to talk about, a lot of different numbers and different things to go through right here, but it's all going to paint a very clear picture of what is actually going on right now. So if you've been watching the videos here on the channel for any length of time, you've probably heard me say before, history repeats itself. That is very true. With virtually everything that goes on, history tends to repeat. Well, let me share with you a few things that have happened over the last several years and show you how this is painting a perfect picture as to what is actually happening right here, right now. Let me throw this out there. Have you heard the word recession lately? Yeah, of course you have, right? This word has been thrown around a lot lately, and because it's the reality. It is what we're currently looking at right here, right now in the current environment. We are pretty much in a recession right here, right now. However, how is that significant, and why does this play a role in a fourth stimulus check? Well, let me tell you the details behind this because this is actually pretty shocking information, but at the same time gives us a perfect glimpse into the future as far as what is likely going to be happening. All right, so first off, let's scroll all the way back to the year 2001. Remember that? A year out of Y2K. Yeah, I know, right? Long time ago. But the fact of the matter is, let's look at the situation. Here's what happened. Back in 2001, President Bush was in office at the time. In May of 2001, he approved, check this out, a $300 stimulus check for individuals and a $600 stimulus check for married couples. Those went out because what were we doing at that time? Yes, a recession was happening in 2001. So a stimulus check was approved at that time. $300 and $600 for married couples. So again, very different numbers than what we're dealing with now. But again, $300 and $600 back then went a lot further than what it does today, right? So very interesting. Keep that in mind now. 2001 recession and stimulus checks were approved. The next recession, when was that? 2008, 2009. What happened? Let me tell you the details about it. In 2008, guess what happened? President Bush, yet again, passed more stimulus checks, doubling the amount of last time. This time it was up to $600 as an individual, $1,200 as a married couple. And yes, those were approved in 2008, again, under President Bush. And what was happening during that time? Yep, you're right, another recession was happening at that same time. Well, in early 2009, Obama was in then, President Obama at the time. What did he do? Well, same thing. Recession was still happening at that time, and he approved a $250 focused check for Social Security beneficiaries. Do you remember that one? It went out in May of 2009. Again, recession and stimulus checks were approved. Now, let's fast forward to the latest recession, early 2020. What was happening? President Trump was in office at the time, and what happened? Yes, you called it again. We fell into a recession in early 2020 because of the lockdowns, because of COVID, because of everything being closed down at the time. We were in a very short-lived recession of about 2 quarters at the time. It was about half of the year of 2020. We officially went into a very short-term recession, but what happened? Yes, once again, stimulus checks. Stimulus checks were approved in the amount of $1,200. For adults, again, $1,200 for an individual and $2,400 as a married couple, plus an extra $600 for dependents, which, by the way, there were also dependent payments back in 2000 and 2008 under President Bush at the time. But again, I forgot to say that earlier, but those were also approved in those packages back then. So here's my point. We want to look at evidence here and as far as what history is providing right now. So 2001, recession, stimulus checks. 2008, 2009, recession, stimulus checks happened. And there were even focused stimulus checks thrown into the mix there for Social Security beneficiaries in May of 2009. Next, 2020, recession, stimulus checks. Well, where are we right now? Yeah, recession, right? Do you see a little bit of a trend here? Yeah, obviously you see a trend. So here's what happens. Every time that the economy falls into a recession, they go into these drastic measures where they figure out, what do we got to do here? Well, they pass these multi-billion-dollar or trillion-dollar stimulus packages to prop up the economy once again. So as we look back at the stimulus packages that were passed back in 2001, 2008, 2009, things like this, they were anywhere from about $800 billion to about $1.35 trillion. Now the ones in early 2020, again, $2.2 trillion. But again, times change. As we continue to move forward in the future, the amounts need to continue going up because money continues to deplete, right? The purchasing power of money is depleting because of inflation. Therefore, naturally, the price of everything is going to continue to go up. Well, right now, unfortunately, we're dealing with a very high inflationary time. But my point is, $1,200 today or $1,400 today gets us about the same amount as what $600 did, 12, 13 years ago, or even back in 2001 when stimulus checks were $300 and $600. That was very different money back then, right? $300 today would almost be an insult if they were to approve a $300 stimulus check. I think a lot of us would think, great, thanks for thinking of us, not, right? So it's a very different situation. So anyway, kind of an interesting little glimpse into the future here as far as, okay, here we are, basically on a recession right here, right now. So what is this going to play out for us in the future going forward? Well, if history gives us any clue into what happens in the future, can you kind of see what happened here? The last 3 recessions that we're talking about, all of them produced stimulus checks, every single one of them. What do you think the next recession is going to do? Do you think it's going to produce another stimulus check, or do you think it's just going to be a bunch of hot air? Well, I can tell you this much. It's for sure going to be a bunch of hot air, and it's probably going to produce stimulus checks as well. So we already know that this is pretty much a thing, and we already know that many lawmakers have already been talking about stimulus checks going out. We've been talking about this here a lot lately over the last couple months. There's been proposals, even as of recently, there's been the administration coming out talking about sending out these ongoing gas cards, right? Because gas is through the roof right now, $5 a gallon across the entire country. So again, a little gas card of $100. Again, I don't know what the amount is going to be for the gas cards. As of right now, they have not really indicated a solid amount yet. They've kind of, pointed around a few different numbers, but for the most part, they have not come out with anything definitive. But my point is, a little gas card of $100 is not going to cut it. That's not what we're looking for these days. We're looking for something more significant. $1,400, $1,800, $2,000, something else like this. As you can see, remember, one more thing here. I just want to throw this out there. Remember this. On an individual basis, 2001, $300. 2008, $600. 2020, $1,200. Can you see how this keeps increasing? It keeps doubling every single time. So technically, the next check should be $2,400, right? 300 times 2 is 600. 600 times 2 is 1,200. 1,200 times 2 is 2,400. So you can see over the course of these last 3 recessions, all of the checks have doubled in size on an individual basis. Kind of makes sense here? So anyway, very interesting, but I would not be shocked one bit to see more checks flowing out here as a result of this current recession that we're pretty much in right here, right now. So again, we need to wait for the official announcements and the official, data to drop and for them to come out and officially declare a recession. And then once again, we need the officials and the people who actually, have the decision-making authority to come out and recognize that, hey, look at the data, we're actually in a recession, rather than just saying we're not. Look at the data, right? So anyway, fact of the matter is, it's looking pretty encouraging for stimulus checks. As I do get more details on this, of course, I'll be right here for you, breaking it all down. But again, hope this one gives you a better glimpse into future. But as I've said before, history repeats itself. And if this isn't evidence enough of history repeating itself, I guess I don't really know what is. This is a perfect example. But history repeats itself time and time again, and I just want to lay this out there and show you this is what is actually going on right now. So again, it's looking very encouraging for stimulus checks, and realistically, the timing of this thing, when the official announcement for a recession has actually been announced, the timing on this could possibly be really, really good as far as right in front of the midterm elections. So anyway, I'll keep you posted. So again, thanks so much for joining me. Please make sure to subscribe down below, share this video with your friends, family, social media, and go back and check out some of the other thousands of videos right here on the channel. I'll continue to be here for you to help you out in any way that I possibly can. So again, until next time, have a nice day, enjoy, and I'll catch you again later in